In part 4 of my V2 DLG mods and build, I'll be working on the wing. I'll be fitting the throwing blade and setting the length of the aileron pushrod linkages. Starting with the throwing blade, I rounded off these corners quite a lot because they're very sharp as they come and they rip your fingers apart after lots of throwing. Now I'm marking out where to cut the slot to insert the blade, and mine is about 20 millimeters in from the end and angled slightly in towards the nose. Now I'm cutting the reinforcing patches, just a circle as big as you can cut out of, or two circles as big as you can cut out of the piece provided, and cutting a slot in those circles. You may want to make sure you align the direction of the weave just for aesthetics. I didn't think about that beforehand. Now just using a knife to cut the slot out of the wing. That's not too difficult. Roughening up the area for gluing with a little bit of sandpaper. And this is 5-minute epoxy just to set the blade into the wing at the right angle. I'm setting this one pointing in towards the nose by a couple of degrees and perpendicular to the wing. There's a fair bit of discussion about the nuances of gluing in the blade, but this is working fine for me. Bit of finishing resin to glue on the reinforcing patches. And I just clamp that in place until it's set. And that's it for the throwing blade. That's ready for use. Now moving on to the aileron linkages. With the pushrod connected to the outer hole on the servo, you get 45 degrees up and 45 degrees down. And that's way more than we need. What we actually want is 15 up and 45 down. First step is to cut about 5 millimeters off the length of the push rods because they're too long. The range of throws you want for the ailerons are 15 degrees up and 15 degrees down for normal flying, and then 45 degrees down for brakes. So to use the full range of the servo and maximise resolution and accuracy, you need to use the middle hole on the servo arm, have it centred and the arm vertical, and then set the length of the push rod so that the aileron is 15 degrees down. And then you use midpoint adjustment in your programmable radio to bring it back to 0. I'm using some CA glue to set the length of the push rod, and while it sets I hold the aileron in the 15 degree down position and then finally shrink the heat shrink. So that gives us roughly the right range of movement, 15 degrees up, 45 degrees down.